Not responsible enough to
What
keep
is
up
this
with
thing?
that.
I don't know. Look at the agenda.
Staring at it. Started.
That's the special.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Jeremy Sherrill will lead us in our invocation and pledge.
Thank you, Lord Jesus, for all of your blessings in our life. We look to you for wisdom and direction, and we do no different today. We honor you and we thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Jeremy. Roll call. Here.
Here.
Jackson. Pike.
Here.
Pepper.
Here.
All right, just one item on this for this special call meeting. Resolution 24-138, award bid number 23023 to Spur Employment Incorporated for temporary services, being the lowest responsible bidder.
Yes, sir. Jeremy Sherrill with procurement. This bid was previously awarded to Prime Consulting on October the 2nd, 2023 with resolution 23-288. And this is a request due to performance issues to end that agreement and move to the next lowest responsible bidder, being Spur Employment Incorporated. As the bid tabulation would show, the city will incur a slight increase of 4% over gross pay with this new agreement. Per Rochelle, I believe the industry average is 35%, so we're still well below that. So we're going to see some increase there, which across all departments that would total about $40,000. So there is a budget amendment that accompanies this resolution in that amount from the general fund FY24.
What departments does this impact?
It's mostly parks, recreation, Point Mallard, and youth services.
Okay.
Well, the resolution, those are the major ones, but it also includes Old State Bank, Youth Services, Police, Point Mallard Golf, Point Mallard Campground, Aquatic Center, Garage, Beautification, and Animal Services.
Okay.
We're not going to be hiring police officers to temp service, are we? Okay.
Probably not an officer, no.
Okay. So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? All right, no discussion. Roll call. Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson. Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 24-138 is approved 4-0. Anything else on this item from the council? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks.
Should have just done
What's the date of the presentation? The presentation, is that today?
All right, it's 5 o'clock. Appreciate everybody being here. We'll go ahead and get started with the work session for our July 1st council meeting. We will have a presentation from the Mental Health Association, update on construction for the, I believe, the ARPA funds that we put towards that project next week. Approval of minutes, June 10th, 2024, 5 p.m. council work session, June 17th, 2024, 9:30 a.m. council work session, and June 17th, 2024, 10 a.m. council meeting. Any questions? All right, public hearings, resolution 24095, approve abatement of unsafe conditions at 425 Vine Street Northwest. Public hearing was set June 3rd, 2024.
Mayor, City Council, Chris Wilbanks, Community Development. This is a 425 Vine Street, also known as Al Robson's Grocery. This has been going on for quite a while. We've had no viable proposals to fix the building or bring it back into any kind of code. It also has been rezoned since the business closed down, I think in 97, 98. The business has been sitting there since 2009 as a condemned building. We asked that we just move ahead with abatement.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 24.
Excuse me one second. Chris, 1 second. Now, one of the owners of the property said that they were coming with some drawings or something. Did that ever happen?
No.
Okay.
We actually, they went to Pugh Wright and Associate, which is a civil engineer, and paid the deposit, but they're not a structural engineer.
Okay.
We've notified him that they're not doing what he needs, and we've heard nothing from him since then.
So we've not.
No contact.
Thank you.
All right, resolution 24132, approve request for off-premise beer and wine license for La Caribbean Market at 1000 Beltline Road, Southwest, Unit K and L, Decatur, Alabama. Emma?
In the Andrews Revenue Department, this is a new grocery store over on the Beltline. They've just gotten that license and they're looking for their own beer and wine license now.
Okay, any questions? All right, resolutions. Resolution 24133, accept additional MPO funding for SR 20 US 31 roadway lighting rehabilitation project.
Yeah, this is the MPO awarded some, I guess, some extra dollars for this project, and we're just getting an agreement through with the MPO to add that to the project.
Okay. Any questions? And then kind of in line with that, resolution 24102, authorize mayor to execute the attached notice of award and agreement with Shoals Electric Company Incorporated for roadway lighting rehabilitation on SR 20.
Yeah, this is just actually awarding the project.
Okay. Any questions?
Call any known time frame?
Just some guess. I mean, I don't know about any kind of supply issues, but typically 45 to 60 days to get the paperwork and stuff for something to probably get started. Once the contract has 120 calendar days, so depending on what the deliveries of the supplies are, 6 to 8 months should be through.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Resolution 24134, approved 2024-25 HUD action plan. Alan?
Alan Stover, Community Development Manager. This is our yearly action plan that we submit to HUD as far as how we're going to spend our allocation for the coming year. This year we will be getting, we've been awarded $452,615 in allocations. That allocation, through regulations, allow us to use 20% of that for admin, 15% for public service. And then the other two projects that we're proposing this year is single-family rehab. We've contracted with CAPNA to do those. Last year, we did $60,000 this year. I mean, and it went pretty quick. So we're allocating $119,000 this year to do. So we'll be able to double what we did last year. And then the other one will be I'm working with the field office to try to, as I told you, in our CAPER, we've been struggling with first-time homebuyer assistance because the housing stock being what it is. So I'm working with the field office to see if there's some way that we can do some mortgage assistance. So that's what we'll do with the $175,000. Hopefully we'll be able to do some mortgage assistance.
Do you remember what it was last year, Alan?
It was 416 last year, so it's up.
Oh, it's actually up?
Yes, sir. It's
been going down every year.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But it went up a little this year.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, Resolution 24-135, accept 5310 grant from Alabama Department of Transportation for 2 transit vans.
Yeah, this grant will just allow us to purchase 2 transit vans for the therapeutics program. One will be handicap accessible, the other one is not. So this will just allow us to purchase 2 vans for that program. There is a grant, there is a match to this, and we'll take that out of our block grant, or not our block grant, but out of our community development grant match budget.
All right, any questions?
Thank you, Alan.
All right, Resolution 24-136, approve the Parks and Recreation Board to implement an Adopt a Park program.
Thank you. Our Parks and Rec Board has really done a great job. Brandon Price, if y'all remember, did an Adopt a Park before we called it an Adopt a Park, and he came in and did a really good job at a couple of our parks. And Ronnie Dukes and a couple of our board members saw that, and we've been working for the last several months on putting a plan together similar to what the schools do with Adopt a School or things like that, with the opportunities that comes with and the things that are good for those companies, good for the city, and we've already got some really good feedback on that. So we expect we've already got people wanting to do it, so we're excited about that. But I did want to notice, especially Ronnie Dukes was probably the driving force to make sure this went that way. Like I say, Brandon Price, I think, had a big part in showing how it could be beneficial to the city, and when people have a good heart for just trying to do stuff good for the community, it gives them an outlet to do that. So we'll of course ask for you guys to accept that, and we're excited about that program.
All right, any questions?
Yeah, you still haven't said, what are they actually going to be doing with this Adopt a Park? What's their role going to be?
They could be doing a lot of things. They could be painting. One of the things that Brandon did was there was an area around where the kids slide down, and they widened that out, changed this, it was sand in it. They put mulch in areas and things like that to make it a little better. But we talked to them about all that. We're not just going to let somebody come in and do whatever they want to do. We're going to get with the group, make sure they have a park that they're acceptable to them as well, and then ask them what kind of work they want to do, because different groups, that's one of the things that was hard about having the conversation initially. Brandon, what he does is he's got folks that do maintenance work. So that's what they could do to help us out. Not everybody can do that. It may be some folks come in and paint, or it may be that some folks come in and, just want to do a cleanup day or things like that. But we're excited about the opportunities to give outlets for folks to be able to do those things. And do it we've always done that. This is just doing it in a little more organized way.
So effectively, they'll be doing things that we should be doing.
Well, we are doing, but like what Brandon did. I mean, he didn't just go in and clean it up. He went in and, like I say, he took grass out of an area because he had the equipment to do it, then changed what that looked like. And, we talked to him beforehand. We thought it was a great thing for the city, and it was a win. And when our board members saw it, they were excited about it too, and knew of other companies and nonprofits and things like that. Because, you could say any job is something somebody should be doing, but any kind of help, any way a community can, get involved. And there's things with these companies or nonprofits, or what if it's doing things as a company retreat, doing things that they can do to, as leadership training, things like that. There's lots of outlets for this, so we're excited about it.
All right, thanks, Jason. Resolution 24-137, approve agreement with Decatur Utilities related to sewer extension for the M&J expansion project.
That's back in February of this year, y'all committed to putting in the sewer. What this does is we enter into an agreement with Decatur Utilities whereby our contractor does the work and we give a year warranty and then it becomes property of Decatur Utilities. It's called a development agreement. We just happen to be, in this case, the developer. And if somebody ties on, we potentially, other than M&J, we potentially can be paid some money for that. It's part of the program. That's what this does.
All right, any questions? All right, boards and committees, appoint Clint Murphy to the Decatur Downtown Redevelopment Authority with term ending June 1st, 2030. This would be a first term, Clint, and he's replacing somebody that rolled off. Any questions? Herman, can you give an update on where we are on the contract with Green Research and Technology? I think the anticipation is still to have it on this agenda for next week.
That's my goal, yes, sir. I've reviewed it, others are reviewing it, and I'll get back with Mr. Green and the others. But yeah, it's still our goal to have it, and as soon as we get it in a posture to send out to the council, that's what we'll do. But that's still our goal. But if that changes, I'll email.
Okay.
But that's what I committed to do.
All right, that is the end of the agenda. Our meeting next week is 5:30 pre-meeting work session and 6 o'clock council meeting. We'll go ahead and move into our public comment section. Mike? Okay. I'm just going to go in order. We'll do 3 minutes with the extra minute as we discussed a few weeks ago. And we'll go. All right, guys, come on. Yes.
I apologize. I had a security with the issue, failed issue. So I just missed the sign-in sheet. They said that I need to ask if I could get it.
It's hard for me to add people after we get it back. If there's an issue, I'm glad to talk with you afterwards, and we do this every single week. So if it's a pressing issue, I can help you after the meeting. I will do that.
A lot of people would like to hear it, but I got caught up.
I understand. I'm sorry. I just can't. Once we start doing that, then it's everybody that walks in we add, and I just can't. I can't really do that. So I apologize. We can have the discussion afterwards, but I'm sorry. No, ma'am.
We do not have to have this.
Okay, that's fine, but we do need to move on with the meeting.
Because maybe if somebody was taking care of my issues, Mr. Perkins may not.
I understand. We'd like to talk. I would like to talk to.
Somebody had done something when I came trying to tell,
ma'am, we.
that I was being poisoned and they were trying to.
Thank you, ma'am. I understand. The courthouse, Judge Howell and Mr. Anderson are across the street. So it'd be good to talk to them about that. Ma'am, please, I do not want to have to end it before we start. And we've got to have order in here, and if we can't have it, we have to just stop. And there's people that have signed in that would like to speak. And we'll start. Anissa, I have Rodney Griffin on the list. It says Griffin. Well, okay. But, all right. Tommy, I don't see Tommy. Anissa's next. Yeah.
I just had a quick question about something. Do you all, any of you three can answer, do you all think it is appropriate if there is someone that's a city employee assisting the mayor in making decisions for this city?
Yes.
You think that's appropriate?
For city employees to assist the mayor in making decisions.
Assist in a way that it's them doing his daily job functions.
No, but let me say this. I do think that our responsibility as a council, and always has been as a council, is to select qualified department heads who are experts in their respective areas. We should have an expert in planning. We should have an expert in building. We should have an expert in finance, and every other department that we have, we should have an expert in that who should be able to give expert advice to the mayor, and the mayor should be able to break down that information and make a decision based off of that. But if you're asking if we should have someone who's actually there telling the mayor you should do this and you should do that, absolutely not. But I do think that regardless of what department, it's our responsibility as a council to select qualified people who can bring those expertise to the table at all times and answer those questions, and then the mayor and the council make decisions based on that person's expertise. But again, to serve as a crutch for the mayor or any of us, no, I don't.
I would say the same thing. You asked if to assist in decision
Yeah, I
making.
wanted to clarify it.
CEO of any organization like he is should be the ultimate decision.
Assisting, I can understand if you're giving some form of maybe assistance in what they do, but I mean someone who's stepping in and doing his job title and functions.
Absolutely not. In that particular regard, it's my position that a council member or a mayor who's elected to do that, if they're incapable of doing those things, then they should step down and allow someone who is capable of doing those things to do those things. That's my position.
This is my last question. We don't trust Tad in any way. We don't trust his decisions. We don't like his opinions. They're never right. He doesn't have integrity. So how do you all feel knowing the position that he's been in for the last 8 months of leaving public comment, not going to the state of the city, all of these things, for him to be able to make decisions, hiring a PR person, communications person, that we as a community don't even know or found out. We didn't even find out through him. We had to read about it. It still shows that there is a lack of transparency when it comes to the decisions that he makes, because we don't see him making well decisions. He doesn't make them for himself. So how do we know how do we know that the decisions he makes when it comes to a big role as a communications director or PR person, that's good for the city?
I can answer that, or I'll give someone else an opportunity.
I guess that's a valid question, but I guess what we've said is elections matter.
That's right.
And so no matter what the seat is.
I think it's very disappointing for him to get on, do an interview and say that he does not regret anything he did in regards to not attending the state of the city. I think it was awful, and if he hired someone who put him up to that, they need to be fired as well.
Let me say this, and I'll address your question as you asked it. Bain called me and asked me, he called me and we couldn't get together. And he asked me after the fact if I thought that the mayor selecting a communications director or anyone else in that management type role was the right thing to do. And the thing that I shared with Bain at that particular time was that I had not seen effectiveness in the mayor selection process. And when it was said in the newspaper that we are one of the largest cities in the state who we don't have a communications director, that's true. But we're also we are the largest city in the state that does not have a planning director or several other directors that we actually need. So to say that because we don't have that, we should allow the mayor to implement that and to select that, I've just not seen, I don't trust the mayor's selection process. I don't have confidence in that more than I don't trust it. I don't have confidence in his selection process, and so for him to select whether it's PIO or any other position, I don't have a lot of confidence in that because I've not seen a lot of results out of those selections.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Lisa. Mike? Well, you were first.
Okay, so like the two of you, y'all keep saying that the mayor's doing a great job. And my thing is this, how can we say the mayor's doing a great job when the whole city, we're not talking about Steve Perkins' situation, but the whole city is scattered all over the place. You got Park and Rec over there, you got HR over there, you got this one over there. So how can he be doing a good job? He's not capable with everybody under one roof, so what do you think he will be doing with everybody scattered all over the city? I just want you all to come to the grip and come to the understanding that the mayor is no good. He's no good for our city. It's time for him to move on. We're going national because we're getting national attention to tell Steve's story, and it deserves national attention. And we're still at square one with this mayor. He has not done anything. He's getting up, leaving, like Anissa said, and I don't want to repeat everything she's saying, but he's not the right one for the job. And we all know this already by digging into it. He's not the one that's running the city. And I think you all know he's not the one running the city. I think he is not running the city. And I think that he needs to, if he can't run the city and he can't do his job, then he needs to go ahead and resign. As y'all know, that the post, that there was a lot of things out there in the social media world last week, and it's a lot of powerful stuff that was said. We don't have any control over what was said. We did try to put out the right narrative out there, but when things, and that's what we have been warning you all for months, that some things are gonna happen, and it's not under our control. Those people up north just now finding out everything. So, I mean, if they come down here, I'll be at the house.
30,000. Listen, here's where I'm at. The communication guy, okay, and the he's been hired. Why we wasn't consulted? Why you didn't ask us? You know, this guy, he works for NASA somewhere, right? Work for the guy who you hired for communication.
I believe we didn't hire him, but ULA, I believe, yeah.
Who hired him?
The mayor.
Okay, he's from, what's his background?
News, all kind of different, Jason Rock, all kind of different PR.
Y'all know his background? What do you do?
General PR across the board. He's worked in media for many years, and he's also worked for the government. He's directed when there was a hurricane that happened a few years back, where he was the entire media director throughout that entire progress. So he's worked for FEMA. He's worked for the state of Pennsylvania, the governor of Pennsylvania, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
have you been in the hood? Have you been in the hood?
He worked for
we
media.
don't have a problem in Pennsylvania. We got a problem in Decatur, Alabama. And we got a problem in Decatur, Alabama with cultural differences, race relations. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that you go and get somebody to venture the moon. Ain't no brothers on the moon. You feel you just man from now. He's from now, so he's like, come on, man. Y'all gotta dig into this thing and get some people that's qualified to help us, to bring us together, to unite us, make us one. You know, I saw what you gave Steve Garner a job. Have y'all seen Steve Garner Facebook posts? And he worked for the city. Have y'all seen it? See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all just hiring people. I'm just gonna be real with you. You hiring white folks, white people. You understand? Your friends, your buddies. And they don't have our best interest in hand. That's why our city, y'all is in shambles. And y'all, and then y'all sit up, listen to this to me. And then y'all sit up and say, oh, he's doing a good job. Really, man? I mean, come on. How can you get up and say something like that? The way this man acted, the circumstances we under, we shouldn't even be here now. This almost a whole year, y'all, and we still talking about the same two people to get rid of, and the same things are still happening. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all go and hire some more people like them. You don't make us no part of it. Well, we got jobs, all these. Why we ain't got none of them? You don't think you need us somewhere? That's the problem, y'all. You ain't got that thing all the way around, 360 degrees. It's just y'all, and y'all got your own thought process. When you need to sit on the table with some more kind of people that think different, then you get together with a consensus agreement. You understand? Instead of just your way or no way, because that's pretty much what it is. And then you look at me like I'm speaking Spanish or something. I'm telling you what's happening, man. We gonna have to get y'all. Whether I like you or not, we gotta get together. Whether I like you or not, Master, we gotta get together. You understand me? We gonna make this thing work. You gonna take every one of us, man. I'm telling you this now. So you might well set your differences aside. It ain't who's right, it's what's right. You understand what I'm saying? So now you gonna put down, come on, you understand? Let's get together and make this thing and make it work, because y'all, it's getting late in the evening. It's getting real late, man. And I noticed that you complying to a lot of things. That only can mean one thing. Some folks coming. They on their way. All right.
Thanks, Rodney. Tommy. Tommy Cook.
How's it going, guys? Hey, did y'all watch the mayor's address?
I did.
What y'all thought about it? Seriously.
I've been answering all the questions. I thought that...
I will if you want me to.
It doesn't matter, but I thought he was evasive. I thought that when the interview started, there were parameters that were set that we're not going to talk about this. I felt that throughout the process, he was not, based on what Cotrella said, he was not honest. So I can't say that I was any more disappointed than I already am. But I was disappointed that our representative for the city came across like that.
I honestly have not watched it.
You haven't?
The mayor did have an opportunity to speak to the city, and he turned it down. So I haven't watched it. I may now. But.
I guess, Tommy, my only comment would be, and I think Anissa touched on this, it's hard for me to believe, because I've sat up here and told y'all I've made mistakes in the past 8 months. And I think all of us would say we probably should have had different or more conversations along the way. And it's just hard for me to believe in the last 8 months, any of us. I would say maybe some of y'all would say we should have gotten together sooner and had better conversations. It's just hard for me to believe anybody in this situation could just triple down on all decisions that have been made. So that was kind of a takeaway from me.
Yeah. What about you, Hunter?
I have no comment.
No comment.
No
comment.
Yeah, he literally took the words out of my mouth. There were some parts that he doubled down on that I was like, hey, okay, probably would have done things different.
What about accountability, man? One of the biggest problems that has been lacking for these 8 to 9 months is accountability. We're passing the buck. The mayor's passing the buck on someone else. The chief's passing the buck. Is everybody? Is some people on the lower levels are being held accountable instead of the people at the top. And what I mean by that is, we've had officers disciplined, fired, but no one at that top level that's over the police department has been disciplined or suspended or fired. And I think a lot of that comes with being accountable. And that's why the mayor can step in front of a camera and have no compassion to what has happened in his city and what's been going on for the past 8 to 9 months. Have anybody set a fire? Have any protesters set a fire? Have they damaged any houses? But what's going to happen when it's people that come here that set fires, damage houses, burn buildings, and we've been crying and shouting for like 9 months, listen man, this thing could be handled peacefully, and all of that. We didn't want no outsiders coming, still don't. But there's some people that look for opportunity, right? And we don't want those people here. But just like we feel there's injustice, the way I look at injustice might be different from how someone else look at injustice, right? And some people their view might be, they might look at it as it might be beneficial for them. I don't like someone coming to my home and disrupting my home, right? I want to disrupt it myself. But the thing is, guys, for 9 months, we have took the right route, right? And it's scary about what could happen here at this city. I remember when the attorney came and said we got to light it up, and he called the National Guard, and he called all of these people. All of those, that's funding, that's money, and we could do it the right way. 8 months that we've been here, we could have did it the right way. And that's the thing, guys. That's the thing we've been echoing. For 8 months, we could have took the right route. Almost 9 months, we could have took the right route. And we're failing after failure after failure. And if we're going to get in front of the camera, at least we could be honest. We could be truthful. We could have compassion. That's the whole thing. And just like he'll hold y'all guys accountable, y'all guys should hold him accountable. That's the whole thing. If he can't stand here and sit here and listen to what his community has to say, why should he sit in front of a camera and lie and play, different sides or make light of what has happened in this city? That's the whole thing, guys. Because they coming. And there ain't nothing you, no one can do about it. Me, I can't do nothing about it. But I love this city more than anything, and it seems like y'all don't love it like I love it.
We just hit 4, Tommy.
Yeah, okay. Appreciate it.
Next time. Christie.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Justice for Steve Perkins. At the last protest I attended, there were maybe 20 of us, including a young child, a vet who walks with a cane, and a man injured by police at a previous Third Friday. We walked peacefully up the streets chanting, as we always do. Please explain to me why there were 2 police officers staged upon the tall building across from City Hall like sharpshooters, why there were drones flying above head, and why we were followed by cars of police officers. There were literally more police officers surveilling us than there were protesters. How much do the police officers get paid per hour? This is wasted taxpayer money. Perhaps our money will be better spent by putting those police officers in some classrooms and providing training. Perhaps we could save that money to pay the third-party investigation. This happens every time we protest. It's not like you don't know where we're going to be. We post it on social media. We follow sound ordinances, traffic laws. We don't even litter. We are simply practicing our constitutional rights. I have come to realize that the oppressor, those of you who have never had to fight for your rights, can't empathize with those of us who do, and who have since the passing of the 14th Amendment that made us all citizens. When did it become us versus them? The police act like we started this. A cop wasn't murdered, an innocent citizen was. And then they had the nerve to put out a false thug narrative until the video footage. They are supposed to protect us, not harass us. They are supposed to serve us, not surveil us. Please tell me why we are treated like criminals instead of law-abiding citizens.
Elena Daly.
One day, when this city or the people from up north decide to revolt against this government and how much it has suppressed us, what side will the police officers be on? Will they be on the side of the government who pays them and sign their checks, or will they be on the side of their family, friends, and lovers who are just citizens? Because at the end of the day, firefighters will be putting out fires no matter who started them, whether it was the government or the citizens. EMS workers will be treating whoever it is on whoever's side, whether it is the government or the citizens. But police officers, where do they stand? Police officers are known as law enforcement. They are supposed to enforce the laws. So what happens when the government infringes upon those laws? Who do we as citizens call when the police murder or break the law? Because we obviously don't get help here. What is a government without its people? Ask yourselves these very questions because history is happening right now. Decide which side you're going to be on and don't switch sides when history continues to prevail. History will continue to repeat itself. Maybe if a third party was brought in after Todd Pinion released a lie to the public about what occurred on September 29th, there would never have been a gag order hearing involving the entire command staff of Decatur Police Department. Maybe if someone on this council would have stood up when protesters were being targeted, harassed, body slammed, cussed out, and stripped of their First Amendment rights for simply speaking, not destroying, not harassing. Maybe a fake Facebook page named Phil McGroin would have never been created to embarrass this city even more. Maybe, just maybe, if one of you would have put your foot down after Memorial was vandalized 10 feet from this police department, we would have never had this war. But no, none of these things happened and no one stood up for us. We want Todd Pinion fired yesterday and the mayor to resign from lying to his people in his office tomorrow. Also, I understand you want to go back to the way things were by not allowing sharing time. However, Congress does share time with other Congress members who agree with and may be more articulate with that other person who is speaking. The citizens of Decatur sign in to share their times to hear someone that they support and that they agree with as well. Just because no one else does it and it's never been done before, those do not qualify as reasonable or appropriate reasons to not make a change. How do you think the U.S. got to where it is today? By doing something that's never been done before and no one else had done. Revolting against a country that suppressed them. We can all put this in the back of our minds at the end of every day, except this family, except Justin, except the people on Ryan Drive who heard those 18 shots that night. Do the right thing by them for once. We're not begging anymore. You're teaching us that when we do the right thing, when we do it the right way, nothing changes. So eventually, and don't take it as a threat because we all feel scared as well for this to happen. But when someone comes down here and shows that this isn't the way that it gets handled in other cities, peacefully and non-violently, when are you finally going to stand up for us again? Thanks for your time, but your city can still be made an absolute fool in less than 3 minutes.
Thank you. Sierra Taylor.
So first, I just want to say, I don't have social media, so all this that they're talking about, I don't even know. But I did tell you guys 3 months ago. Told you guys it was going to happen. Asked y'all to do something, make some change then so that it didn't happen. So how are each one of you going to feel when this city is burning? Anybody?
I don't want it to happen.
We don't either. That's why we've been begging. Next thing. Any word on Jack Brown or Renshaw?
I don't have any update on any personnel matters.
So
that I know that are
as the person that was assaulted and as my husband being the person that was tased and wrongfully arrested, how do we find these things out? Like, I would love to know that, something, I feel like we deserve.
So that is a very good question. I don't know the answer. I do know one thing that if we are to hire, are you familiar with the Mr. Green?
Yeah, I've heard about this.
One thing they will look at is when there are internal affairs complaints made, how those are handled and how the citizen that made that complaint is informed of the result of that complaint. And so my hope is, my expectation is that there will be some formal process. There at least is there going to be a review of that. As of now, I don't know the answer to your question, but
okay.
I do want to know that, and
So maybe when the third party comes in, we'll get some
Well,
answers,
or
because
maybe,
we're not going to get it
or
from
maybe
them.
before, but certainly after that.
Well, the one in charge of doing that's just as bad as Todd Pinion, so we're not getting no answers there. But, so do we know if there's even been the idea of maybe the charges specifically from Third Friday, that maybe, hey, those was bad calls and should be dismissed?
Again, that would be part of the review. I can't speak into, or none of us can really speak into specific personnel. There's a lot of protections, as you know. We've talked about that in here before. Unfortunately, it's hard for us to discuss that. I don't know the answer to your question, though. If I did...
Do you feel like it would be a pretty smart idea to dismiss charges that was obviously with a corrupt cop that was wrongfully arresting people?
If there were, I was not there, but I had a lot of concerns about what I saw. So it's hard for me to answer that question.
Okay, and then another thing that's completely off subject, but also could be very dangerous, is alligators. I know that's crazy, but has anyone, how would we go about getting more of the beware of alligators signs posted up around the water where, because I seen a very large one and I seen babies playing in the water right there before it was noticed.
So I run the Point Mallard trails a lot, and there are some signs actually out there that talk about alligators. There have been some seen, I think, recently in the refuge.
Yeah, you know where people put their kayaks in on 67?
Yeah,
You
so
know-
that's federal land, right? That's the refuge. So we can talk to the refuge about signage to make sure.
Yeah, because that's where I seen one. It was pretty big.
People
and-
do need to be aware they're out there when you have kids.
Yeah, there was a couple with their kids there, and they were from out of state, and they did not even know that there was alligators there. so-
We can check with them.
Okay, justice received.
Thanks, Sierra. Alvin.
I have a few questions. First question I would like to ask is, who is Rochelle Sandlin?
She's the HR director.
She's the HR director.
That's what he said's correct.
That's her role, HR director. Okay. How is Joe Renshaw? I mean, I've heard scuttlebutt around the city that he's going to be retiring on July 1st.
I've heard scuttlebutt too, but I don't know anything concrete. Is that fair? I mean, I can't tell you concretely. I haven't been told by anybody in anything official like that.
So concrete, so we wouldn't know until 2 weeks from now when he actually does.
I have no idea how those things are handled.
Carlton?
Yeah, I'll take that one. No, I've heard the same thing, and it is a personnel thing and merit system. Mike, you know about the merit system and how that works.
So you've heard it from reliable sources?
I've heard it from, I've heard rumors, yes.
So then it's most likely true?
Well, I don't know, it's just a rumor. It's not a rumor until we know, and with it being a personnel matter, we can't speak on personnel matters because we don't know them.
Okay.
Let me say this. If it is true that Officer Renshaw is being allowed to extend out and retire versus being punished for putting a taser, and we all saw this on video, versus putting a taser in a man's chest while he was handcuffed, versus threatening a citizen, if we're allowing that to go on, then it completely contradicts the penalties that Lieutenant Kevin Jackson got on Friday as a member of our fire department. It completely contradicts that. There is no parallel in the punishment. So if that's the case, that he's being allowed to do that and play his time out until he retires, that is, it's unfair. It's not consistent, and it is something that shouldn't happen.
So as concerned citizens, who do you all suggest that we speak to about that?
Unfortunately, the correct answer is the mayor. It's the correct answer.
According to this empty chair here, we don't have one.
That, Jacob is right, that's the person who you should address that to, because he is supposed to be the person who answers those type questions now. Because he's absentee, I can't explain that logic, but he is supposed to be the person. In ordinary circumstances, the mayor would be the person who would answer that question.
That was what I was saying.
So if we really had a mayor, he would answer it, but we don't.
He is responsible for those type of questions, yes.
So would it be, so would we be speaking with the HR director? Should we speak to the HR director, or is that someone that we can speak to? Because clearly, if he's not present, then someone's making the decisions.
Someone might be making the decisions, but based on legislative act, and my understanding always has been, now there have been, in this situation, there have been HR directors who have taken more liberties than I think the law allows them. In my opinion, the HR director for municipalities such as Decatur serves as a go-between between the employees and the government. And they're no more an advocate for the employees than they are for the government, no more an advocate for the government than they are the employees. They're a go-between. And from everything that, I won't say everything, but much of the things that I have heard, that's not necessarily the case. So, but to answer your question, no, that's not the person you should be addressing that to. It should be the mayor.
I understand the concern with that answer. So let me, or one of us, can run that up and see what I can find out for you. Is that fair? Yeah. That's the best I can do. All right, Danny's not here. Okay. Bill Birdsong.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello.
First of all, I pause to give honor and respect to the Perkins family. I address you guys, the mayor in his absence, city council president, councilman, the attorney for the city here. Fellow citizens and fellow clergy. What I'm going to say is probably not what you would expect in lieu of the last time I stood before you. But I stand today because there is a spiritual deficit in this community that has to be addressed. Before every council meeting, you have invocation and you have someone pray and ask for wisdom to make proper decisions that affect us. And when they take their seat, everything goes out of the window. What you ask for divine wisdom to make proper decisions, and then you throw it away. Because if there's anything in you that is of him, then your conscience has to be seared to it when you don't make the proper decisions and your conscience is leading you to do the right thing.
Amen.
So all you have to really do is just do the right thing. And you refuse to do that. So it's quite troubling. Okay. Now there aren't any perfect cities. Okay. Plato took an example with the Republic, and that was a perfect place. Okay. And we all look for utopia, but there aren't any. Okay. So
these things are going to happen, not just in this town, but in other cities all over, because we as men have deficits. Okay, we all do. I have, you have. So my appeal to you is an appeal for you to search deep, deep into your inner man, into your conscience. Okay, because when you leave here, away from this forum, you gotta answer to you. I mean, not only if you don't have any conscience as to what has transpired here, a family losing, a wife losing a husband, children losing a father, but the city lost. The city lost. The city lost a loving human. And I didn't know Stephen Perkins. Okay. But when I looked at the news accounts after his murder, everybody that was interviewed talked about how they loved him. Okay. So he was a man that generated those feelings because he had to have given that. So any decision that's made to rectify this is not going to be an adversarial one where we're at each other's throats. It's going to be where we come together to demonstrate and honor him through love and respect for each other. Okay?
We just hit 4, if you can just wrap up your last point. Thank you.
My last point is Babylon fell. Sodom and Gomorrah fell. All evil cities fall. You don't have to fall. Just do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Birdsong. Justin Shepherd? No? Okay. Anything else from council? All right, we will stand adjourned. Thanks.